Okay, so here we go. The value of future effort is in excess of present value effort because once one progresses in their career, mission, goal, or journey, time becomes more valuable as the underlying skill, attainment, product, business, assets base that has accumulated. So, it's been quite a while since I've actually looked at this. So, let's try to figure it out here. So I've written all effort till this moment of time you must decide on what to solve for the future present, the future value of all time in aggregate. As you progress in your career, you must assume there's a numerical value of your time that is a tradable asset. Alright, I think I've overwhelmed myself here. So it's been quite a while. Maybe I didn't do a very good job explaining this. So from what I'm understanding is that the number of years that you're working on a certain problem, okay, will equate to its value. But what is the current present value? All right, so maybe something that you're trying to solve for as a career, let's say you're like a biologist, okay, or you're an inventor. Well, it's not going to yield any results in the immediate, in the present value, right? So you know that there's going to be some future value, and what we're trying to figure out is, using a formula such as this, you could determine what would be the usefulness of actually doing something. So it's almost like an exercise for thinking about, should you get started on something? Now, you wouldn't want to get started on something at all if there was no future value, right? So if you're thinking about doing that actual activity, will it also improve your individual ability, or are you dedicating it all to that purpose? And of course, when you're dedicating yourself to something, you will attain skills. So what is your willingness to do it? Because those skills and abilities will compound over time. Let's take a look here of what I've written. So man has limited willpower, and so he should tread wisely. If he dedicates his time to the wrong thing, nothing will come of it. Sages of the past, from Confucius and a handful of Greek and Roman intellectuals, have commented similarly. Choose in this order: the right woman, the right career, the right education, right? So as an example, if you have a relationship, you're actually considering what will be the value of that relationship in the future. And I've always argued, if that relationship won't exist in the future, then why commit to it, right? And that would equate to its present value. Be it a career. If a career won't exist in the future, would you dedicate yourself to it? And tied to that career would be your education, right? You'd be educating yourself to improve upon that career. But if that career is not going to exist, then why start that career? The time you're spending now on this woman, is she the right one? Because in absolute terms, as the relationship ends, there is no future value. If one finds themselves in a career with no future due to obsolescence, will the skills be transferable to a new career? If one has a poor education, will it hamper the usable skills, progress of a said person's career? Will you fail to meet your potential? The wrong woman can destroy a man's psyche or willingness to pursue a career with haste or fervor, in addition hamper any motivation to education, be it through the use of the man's time or Babylonian negative response when initiating education-related activities or any variation thereof. So, right, your personal willingness and to do things and your willpower can be dissipated based on, let's say, a toxic relationship or other demands of the household. Can the wrong career destroy man's health of his relationships? Absolutely. So let's say you become a welder, right? You might blind yourself or you might ruin your lungs. So, I mean, if you have to be an investment banker working 120-hour weeks, never at home, always traveling, I mean, I don't think that's very conducive. Or if you're, let's say, working in oil and gas and you're a rig manager and you have to stay at that rig for over a month offshore, well, that's not really conducive to a quality relationship, right? If health is lost, what are the direct costs to survival, such as hospital maintenance of reducing symptoms of the illness? If the career does not pay well, won't one potentially lose his loved ones? If one attains a poor education or is ignorant but has found a good woman and a good career, his environment may be such as to overcome this hindrance. Thus, any activity one voluntarily decides to participate, let me see if I spelled that wrong, participate, in the presence can have a negative or positive, let's check here as well, positive compounding rate in relation to all other activities. Most people do not decide well enough on these three simple nouns: woman, career, education. Firstly, to justify any other immediate goals, every young man should learn how to choose the right woman, not a woman, and I would put it above all else, because it turns out even Bill Gates' wife is supposedly a crude witch and an unkind to people. So yeah, there's a story where, inside scoop here, but she's supposedly very rude to the working staff in the house. I don't think that's necessary, right? And someone actually said that when Bill was observing that, he looked like he had shame in his face, and he looked away. And it happens not just once, but it happens all the time. So, what's the point of being so wealthy if your domestic situation is kind of broken? So, and inversely, so every woman should focus on finding the right man, right? So, me being a man, of course, I'm writing a book in one way for myself, but I mean, this can be applied to a woman's life as well. All right, so I have a quote here from a book. The quantity of money today is worth more than what will be received at some point of future time, at some point of time in the future. Conversely, the future value of a given amount of money will always be greater than the present value of the sum of money invested at a greater rate than zero. It's because money can be reinvested to make it grow, right? Law of nature, compounding is practically infinite, even if it's a small number. All right, so what is the future value of money, right? If like as in the present situation, everything is getting cheaper in regards to stocks. I mean, it might be going up, but some of it's going down. So let's assume that it's all going down, all right? If you were to be invested and the present value of that money is actually quite low compared to the value of, let's say, equities, right? Now, if that was previous. Now, if those values went down, okay, and you knew they would go down, that present value of money or cash would be more valuable. So you wouldn't be buying any investments. You would wait. But of course, it's very hard to assume those things. But we all know it's best to be invested over the long term because you'll have a greater rate of return than zero, and in fact, negative, because money is inflated away. So that the present value of the sum of money invested at a greater rate than zero. So I actually disagree with this gentleman. It would actually be negative because of inflation. But it's a good quote from a smart person nonetheless. All right. That's it for today. Thank you very much.